Yokoso! Welcome to my first ever top 5 video for my YouTube channel, which I'm going to be picking my personal top 5 characters to play as in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Apologies for my voice today, it's just that I have a sore throat and it's just holding me back. But don't worry, I'm recovering from it slowly, and hopefully I'll be able to get back on track before Origins comes out on the 17th of January. I may have to check my calendar again, but whatever. Don't worry guys, I'm fine. I promise you, I'm fine. Anyway, I'm going to be picking my personal top 5 characters to play as in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Do note that this is my personal pick, rather call it the King of 9 Empires top 5 weapon list. I've been playing 9 Empires for quite a long time now, maybe even 2 years. And before we end year 2024, I just want to give out my opinions on what are my top 5 characters to play as / top 5 weapons to use for your CAW or edit officer in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Some may agree on this list, but others may oppose. Just remember to be civil about your opinions on why that is so or so forth, but it has to be Chaos Difficulty's point of view only. They don't call me the King of 9 Empires for nothing, otherwise...
If I were a bad demo man, I wouldn't be sitting here discussing it with you now, would I?
Otherwise, why do you think my speedrun attempts are for? I beat Thanos, I beat KZ. It seems I have the fastest time of those 2 scenarios, Northern Campaign and Fall of Shu. You see, any other difficulty outside Chaos when I'm making my top 5 video will be just disregarded. But honestly, I don't see many YouTubers do this top 5 stuff exclusively to 9 Empires, considering the ratings of the game apparently. But this video will probably be the first of all to be directly focused on 9 Empires itself. Anyway, before we get started for my top 5 characters, I just want to say that this list is based on how well they perform on Chaos difficulty and with the Chiyu artifact, which is the artifact that you use for Slash element. For those who still don't know, Slash in 9 Empires can kill peons in one hit and ignore some defense from enemy officers. I'm also partially, but not fully, including how well they can perform in inferior battles, which is a one versus many type of battle where all enemy officers don't flinch no matter what you do, unless you use a fully charged R1 attack. Though you're not meant to participate in an inferior battle anyway, so whatever you do, never risk a disadvantageous or inferior battle in 9 Empires on Chaos difficulty. It's just unsafe to do so. Anyway, it's just my playstyle. I almost always use Slash element throughout the game, as you've seen in my past few content. Again, this is my first time making a top 5 content for my channel, so please bear with me. Without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, we've got Xin Xiaying. Now, people are gonna be surprised on why I put her on number 5 and not below. They probably expect me to put her lower than number 5, but despite her pros and cons I've listed in the past, I actually enjoyed her broad axe moveset in 9 Empires. Not to mention, she's one of the 5 characters to play as in tutorial mode, which consists of Zhao Yun, Cao Shu, Chen Pu, Xin Xiaying, and Dong Bai. They're all good, but at the end of the story, and please don't take it too hard, I feel like Xin Xiaying deserves her number 5 spot in my eyes. She's taken enough unfair mistreatment throughout the whole community, so I think she deserves better. By putting her on the top 5 list, this will remind me constantly, and especially to y'all, that it takes personality and character to devote yourselves into putting her as your sidekick throughout the game, even if her story was written well in DW9. But whatever. I tried her on Chaos as well in 9 Empires. She's doing just fine, but she'll do even better if she counterattacks an enemy, dealing, well, way more than average damage, like you see in this clip over here. Although in inferior battles, just try not to rely on her counterattacks a lot, because the enemy will read your movements and they will break your guard. There was this one time I managed to solo an entire army as Xin Xiaying on Chaos difficulty. Actually, I've done it a few times. Too bad I didn't record it though, but never mind that. Anyway, I don't know if it's relevant, but apparently her attack stats is at the highest of the entire roster, while having the lowest defense stats in return. Kinda like how Power Rune functioned back in DW4 and 5 if you ask me. Aside from that, her Broad Axe is really enjoyable to me at least. This is a lesson for all y'all, to never throw away those newcomers, because those newcomers who have potential. Doesn't matter if it's this game or the next game, I don't care if it's rushed or not, there's always room for potential. Are you taking notes, Akihiro Suzuki? You better give Shisha the spotlight she deserves in the next installment. You know what I'm talking about. Her story in DW9, and her involvement in the main game. Now I better see those improvements in DW10 or we're gonna have a word or two about it. In conclusion, I sense potential inside Shinsha. Big axe, nice personality, I'm putting her on the list. Unlike everyone else where they simp for overrated characters. Coming in at number 4, we got Yue Ying. I know that people might be expecting me to put Lu Meng instead of Yue Ying, but just remember that they share the same moveset. They're clones of each other. The only differences are Musou attacks, EX attacks, unique attacks, and special attacks. Anyway, when I first tried out Yue Ying's Pike, I was amazed by her air follow-up attack. Not only the enemies in the air will be caught in the attack area, but enemies surrounding you will be picked up too. Just make sure you utilize the left stick, or should I say the A and D buttons if you play on PC, with auto-lock enabled. Yue Ying's ground Musou is pretty damn insane, like a Beyblade spinning towards you that you have no choice but to
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me.
Anyway, you get the deal. If you play it as either Yue Ying or Lu Meng, you might understand why I put Yue Ying over Lu Meng for my number 4. Again, same moveset, but different Musou attacks, ES attacks, unique attacks, special attacks, so forth. People might vote Lu Meng instead of Yue Ying, but that's actually fine. They share the same moveset anyway. Either way, being top 5 still means a lot when it comes to 9 Empires. Coming in at number 3 is none other than the lazy boy himself, Sima Zhao. The king of speed running for the fall of Shu scenario in 9 Empires, Sima Zhao has earned the number 3 spot on my list. His sword is probably the most iconic for me when it comes to, well, Sima Zhao. His fully charged unique air attack deals so much damage in one swing. Attack speed is moderate, definitely not fast though. His ES attack is quite funny too. Body survey for the win baby, although your enemies will just dodge away anyway. Just use his unique air attack, and if you want, do a follow up afterwards and spam the air dodge function to reset your floor attack, so on. I'm the type of player who favors swords in the game, so don't be surprised. Though y'all might be surprised that I didn't put Sima Zhao on number 1. Like, come on, he's lazy for crying out loud. I punished him off the number 1 spot for that reason. Nah, just kidding. I mean, there are 2 more characters on the list anyway that I haven't reviewed yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and review my number 2. Number 2 spot goes to none other than the hero of chaos, Sou Motoku. God, I love saying that. Okay, I'll say it. Cao Cao. Number 2 goes to Cao Cao. Now, people might think, hey, why is this intro on the list? His Flame Blade shares the same moveset as Cao Cao's General Sword. Well, again, same moveset but different unique attacks, ES attacks, Musou attacks and all that. For why I put Cao Cao's General Sword on the Sintra's Flame Blade. Both works fine, don't get me wrong, but I just prefer Cao Cao in 9 Empires to be honest. When I first started to play Dynasty Warriors 9, Cao Cao was my first character to play as. Pretty basic moveset for a starter character, yet really fast. His unique stun attack is probably one of the best crowd control attacks in 9 Empires, with Slash. Y'all might be asking, what about against officers? Well, I have this solution. You use his launch attack and do a follow-up attack on them, but the way I utilize Cao Cao's air follow-up attack, or should I say Cao Cao's air juggle, in which I call it, is like this. You rapidly press the attack button 3 times when the enemy is in midair, then do an air dodge and repeat until you run out of stamina. They'll be in a helpless state unless you stop attacking them. Enemies caught in the attack area midair will be helplessly juggled to death. Oh, if you're out of air dodge stamina, just restart your launch attack from ground and air juggle them and again until they die. You've seen me speedrun with Cao Cao's weapon before. Now, before we go to our number 1 spot, I just want to give out some honorable mentions in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. I'd like to give the honorable mention to Guan Yiping for her air juggle, Juran for his air juggle, just fill up his Muso and he becomes a killing machine. Wang Yi with her aiming pierces that deal a lot of damage, and I mean a lot. There might be more like Zhou Tai, Diao Chen, Jiang Wei, Lu Linqi, Cao Pi, Zhang He, etc. And no, Zhong Hui is not on the fucking list. Rather, he's on the dishonorable list. Fuck his Blade Blaze, fuck his story, fuck his DLC, fuck everything that stands for him. Whew, sorry you had to hear that. Anyway, let's get to my number 1 list. Number 1 goes to, well, everyone's favorite, yet ambitionless, none other than Shushu. When I was making my top 5 characters list, I had a hard time picking either Cao Cao or Shushu as my number 1. Well, because I've been using Cao Cao's weapon for such a long time now, I did not know that Shushu would be that good. When I tried the sword and hook, I was amazed. I mean, don't get me wrong, both Cao Cao and Shushu are really good, but I mean, both their superior crowd controls and officer slaying abilities just put me in a position where I almost gave up on making that list. But then as time passes on deciding who should be on my number 1 spot, I feel like Shushu should be there. Despite being difficult to understand his sword and hook attack movements, give him a couple of days, weeks, or even months if you have to, and he'll definitely be one of the best characters to use in 9 Empires. He does have a general sword as his secondary, but don't bother with that, just use his sword and hook. And yeah, you'll do fine. Anyway, Shushu has a unique stun attack that shreds and tears enemies ahead of him with all those slashes. Can be useful for crowd control, can be useful for capturing bases in 9 Empires, can be useful against officers, or even against animals. For me, I just use Shushu's unique stun attack followed by his launch attack. Rinse and repeat until you capture an enemy base. Same attack method can be used against enemy officers in an inferior battle. They won't flinch anyway. Suits me fine. I'll just move them away from their allies with auto lock enabled and freeze their attack animations until they get destroyed. But as soon as you're out of the inferior battle state, this is where my attack methods will change. I will still do his same unique stun attack, but following up, I use his other stun attack, with or without the hook, to repeatedly stun them. If they dodge my unique stun attack, guess what? Doesn't matter. I'll just repeat the same process over and over again until I defeat them. Simple. Even though I should have known about this a long time ago. Shushu also has above average damage for both his Muso attacks. That's a surprise for me too. I can't believe it either. Also, he can refill Muso pretty quickly, and this is why Shushu with his sword and hook is on my number 1 spot. Just one more thing though, if you're playing as someone else and not Shushu, and you use his sword and hook, it will not work. You have to play a Shushu or an edit officer that has Shushu's moveset in order to make this sword and hook work. His unique stun attack can prove very useful. Without it, you will not be able to make full potential out of this weapon, rendering it useless to thieves alike. I mean, you're welcome to try, but I guarantee that you'll need Shushu to make the sword and hook work. Just saying. Nobody else but Shushu can make the sword and hook work properly, and this is why every character in 9 Empires have their favorite weapons in the game. Whew, and that's it for my first ever top 5 video. I mean, I don't usually do that kind of stuff, but now that it's out of the way, I feel relieved, I guess. I wanted to do it because Dynasty Warriors Origins is coming out, and I thought maybe this could be my last chance to make my top 5 video before the end of 2024. Anyway, hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for the rest of your days in 2024. Don't forget to leave a like if you agree with my list, comment on who you think who should have been on the list, and subscribe for more upcoming content. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Until then, Janelle.